here with Hockey 605, and I'm here with my cohorts from our first wrap-up session, Coach Kranz, Kurt Kranz, and Donovan Peterson from Brookings. Quite an exciting and interesting day here at the barn.
The barn.
At the barn.
We're in Watertown. The barn's in Sioux Falls.
Oh, okay. I thought all hockey places were called the barn.
No.
Okay. What do we call this place?
Georgie, Mass.
Okay. Well, you know, we had a couple pretty interesting matchups on the consolation bracket today. You know, the first game, Mitchell and Huron played. I thought, you know, the game, because both of those teams can be very physical teams, the game was really very physical.
Yeah, I agree with that. The game got really physical. Unfortunately, Mitchell ended up losing some girls to the rule of the 3 penalties, and I think towards the end there that kind of really hurt them and helped where they weren't able to come out with the win on that game.
Yeah, you know, in just watching this, you know, the Huron, Mitchell opened with the goal. Huron came back and equalized. They were pretty even, but later in the game, especially in the third, it looked to me like a lot of stuff broke down over on Mitchell. Coach got ejected. You know, they had 4 girls that, you know, toward the end of the thing, 4 girls in the penalty box, and they're almost like celebrating it. And I can't figure that out, but you know, I haven't seen that happen with any other team here, so I'm still trying to sort that part out.
Yeah, that's, you know, they haven't had much to look forward to all season with that team. I mean, they've struggled with wins, and it gets frustrating. You know, this time of year, it's the end of the year, and it kind of all comes out.
Well, hopefully.
But I will have to say, I will give it to Mitchell, though. It seems like they kept up their spirits as best they could, and they stuck together as a team the best they could. I mean, you see a lot of teams that happens to, that they start yelling amongst each other really bad. You didn't really see that with Mitchell, so I have to give it to them on that aspect. So that they kept it really well and they stuck together, even though the penalties and girls were getting this and girls were getting that. And I actually got to talk to Haley Stalla when after she fortunately had to leave the game, and she went over and had a word when she was on the breakaway, and one of her teammates got a penalty on the backside, and went over, you know, and had a word with her about that. But they actually, I thought, did a really good job sticking together the whole year.
You know, and you're exactly right. You know, it was they kind of have an us against them mentality, but they, despite their hardships, really stuck together really well, and I thought we're very positive toward each other. So, you know, Huron gets to go play for that consolation championship tomorrow, and Mitchell goes to the 7th game, and who knows what's going to happen there.
I mean, you can't take anything away from Huron. They came with 9 skaters all year. And I mean, as Donovan knows, and I know we always have with girls, you always have someone sick, someone's here, someone's there.
Yeah.
I mean, they had 9 skaters. Where the rest of us, we had, you know, a couple extras that we could put in if someone was sick. You can't take anything away from Huron. They did very well with what they had, I think.
Well, and it can't hurt to have the first team All-State goalie. You know,
No.
Yeah.
and she was a big factor.
As we found out tonight, you build your team around your goalie, and they have a solid goalie. They have 8 good skaters. So, you know, you got hats off to them. They're well conditioned, and they do a heck of a job for what they have. So.
Yeah, and that's another team. Not only does the team support each other on the ice, I noticed their fans are just really extremely positive. Not only just toward their team, but toward the whole game. I felt a lot of respect from that Huron crowd toward the game. You know, then we moved on to Rushmore in Hawaii, and everybody who paid to get in today, you know, got their money's worth on that game. You know, 2 overtimes. I was kind of, you know, I've been in a lot of overtime matches here the last couple weeks, and it seems like, you know, just after they cleaned the ice after the first overtime, about 15 seconds into the second one, somebody scored it, but that was definitely not the case here. I mean, both teams were defending like crazy in those overtime periods.
Yeah, I think it actually went down to 20 seconds left in the second overtime, or 30 seconds.
28 seconds.
Although, I mean, the unfortunate part about that, you know, why he came out with a loss, and it just goes to show you, though, I think the shot for Rushmore in both overtimes was only 2, and one of them was a goal.
Yeah.
So, but you have to give it to Rushmore's goalie. Like Donovan just said, you kind of build your team around a goalie, and Rushmore's goalie is one of the best when she's on. And when she seemed to be on today, and she's definitely was stopping. And
You know, Veezy, and you know, I tried finding her tonight, and I don't think she is around here, but you know, it really looked to me, and again, you guys need to correct me if I'm not seeing things right here, but it looked to me like Rushmore was probably taking a little more chances than Oahe. Oahe seemed to be a little more organized behind the puck, but Rushmore could because they had Anna in the goal, you know. You know, and we can't say really enough in the game about Abby Coyle for Rushmore. I mean, that number 5 shirt can skate, and she's fast, and she, you know, she had a little more trouble finishing yesterday, but today, you know, she got the second and final goal. So.
Yep.
It's just one of those dangerous players that you gotta, you know, there's 5 skaters on the ice, but all it takes is one dangerous one. If you forget about, you know, if you give them an opening, you forget about it one time, and obviously that game came down to, you know, she got in and got a goal.
Yeah, and you know, she's one of those players really, you can almost, if you don't have the right skaters in the back, you can be paying all the attention in the world to her, and she's just going to skate by you because she just is that fast. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see.
Before we move on, though, we can't take anything away from Pier. I mean, they were firing the puck, and they were doing, like you said, they were running their systems. They were running, you know, and I can't think of her name right off the top of my head, but 22 from Pier. I mean, she was on her game. Yeah, Abby, she was on her game, and she was shooting left and right, and we got a chance to talk to her after the game back right before we went out, and you know, and she had good spirits too. And then she went into the locker room, and she was like, "Girls, it was their day," you know. So it was. She definitely is a good leader on that Pier team, and
well, you know, and really in a game like that, you really take a look at, you know, of course, one team advances and one team doesn't, but the way that both teams played, they could both leave feeling like they accomplished something, you know, something very positive. And you know, like you say, Kurt, it's unfortunate for Oahe that they didn't get the goal to win the game, but you know, that's why we play them, and they, you know, I thought they handled it very well. All right, let's move over to the winner's side, and I honestly thought I was going to be sitting here with 2 very happy coaches tonight, but I know I am sitting here with one very happy coach. Kind of run down that Aberdeen game with your Watertown team today. Boy, that was a great game.
well, it was a great game, and you know, you got to give Aberdeen all they had. They came to us and they brought their game today. And right before we went out, I told the girls, I'm like, "What happened to Pier? You know, they let Rushmore stay in the game the whole time, and you know, and I told them that we need to get out and put the puck in the net and go right away, win the small races, and we allowed Aberdeen to stick with us, and unfortunately Aberdeen took it all the way down to the wire. I think in the 3rd period they got 3 unanswered goals for a while. I would say that after to go, our captain kind of really brought everybody back, and that, you know, that's her job, but she was doing a really good job being positive, and you know, we were trying to, you know, girls go back to what was working as coaching, but I would say our captains, Heather Mullen, and you know, you have Kayla Pukowski, that, you know, she kind of one that sleeps on the second line there, and she really gets that second line up and going with her and Tara. So
she's a fighter. Well, you know, and that's a couple things I noticed. You know, you got some real help from your older players tonight, some real help when things look tough. So really, you know, we talked about that momentum in the 3rd and the 3 goals they had. What do you think really boiled down? I mean, was it just the captain saying step it up, or, you know?
Well, it's not necessarily that we really needed to step up. We needed to calm down more than anything. Okay. You know, whenever a team starts getting, you know, and as Donovan knows, when the team starts getting momentum, it's usually because the other team is racing or trying so hard that it's starting to go backwards, you know, and we just needed to calm down and play our game, and the captains and finally got them to settle down a little bit, start playing our game. Ended up getting that last goal in, and I believe Heather scored that last goal, if I remember right. Yeah. Heather Mullen, our captain, and we were able to hold on to the win, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you're in the big game tomorrow, you know, and actually, you know, when we take a look at the final game of the day, Brookings against Sioux Falls, you know, your team started everything just right.
Yep.
I mean, they controlled the game, they came at them when they felt like it, they defended well. But boy, you know, just like we talked last night, you know, like you said, every time Sioux Falls step on the ice, they get better and they're gaining confidence, and they played like that tonight.
Yeah, they, you know, the first 2 times we faced them, they had rookie goalies in, or, you know, first-year goalies, and I don't think, the closest game was, I think we beat them by, you know, 8 or 9 goals. So coming in here, and like I said last night, they're a totally different team. The confidence is there, you know, but we did what we needed to do the first 2 periods. We controlled the game. We shot them. The girls were working hard, doing what they needed to do.
Yeah. And, you know, much to Sioux Falls' credit, they hung in there with you. They came back, and it looked to me like, you know, I don't know if it was a turning point, but it was a point where your girls seemed to, all of a sudden, they're going, oh, wow, we are in a dogfight here.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get in a position sometimes where they're trying too hard.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, part of that, like Kurt said, is winning all the small races and getting there. And we were doing that. And, you know, the girls were working hard. They were controlling the puck, doing what they needed to do, getting shots. But the longer the period went on, I mean, we outshot them 25-10 in the third period. The longer the period went on, the goalie got more confidence because she was stopping everything we were throwing at her. And the team in front of her got more confidence because she was stopping everything. They got their first goal, and I told the girls, you know, in between periods that we needed to get that first goal. That was going to be, you know, it was a crucial goal. Come out there, get the first goal, and shut them down. Well, they got the first goal of the third period. That gave them the momentum, and you know, and they got that one, and they followed it up with 2 more. And it was, you know, it wasn't really any letdowns or anything we were doing wrong. It's just that they were playing with that much more confidence and that much harder, and you know, and not that our girls didn't quit. I mean, they played the entire period. It's not like they just quit and sat on their heels. And we told them, you know, we're not going to just sit back and try to play defense and protect our lead. We're still going at it, but the harder we went at it, the better they were. So.
Well, you know, and really they approached it, I thought almost team-wide, is almost having a fearlessness to them, you know, about just getting down there in numbers. And they did, and I think 2 of their goals came when they just had all sorts of orange shirts right in front of your goal.
They're great. I mean, they're a very good passing team and very good shooting team, and they're quick. And you know, it's a lot. They've got a lot of tools to cover it.
Yeah.
You know? And they got 2. They can mix and match and throw some girls around different areas, and they can make both lines pretty even. You know, obviously we played with them for most of the night.
And it's tough to bring your team when you're peppering them, like you said, with 25 shots, 30 shots in a period, and the goalie stopping everything you're throwing at them. You know, the team, it starts rolling. You know, and that's a tough thing. I mean, and their goalie was on, and some days it's the team, and some days it's the goalie.
Well, you know, I wasn't going to ask you guys because I expected you to be in the big game tomorrow against each other. I was going to ask you to analyze the games, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you to analyze and give us some keys to the game tomorrow in the Brookings against Aberdeen game.
Well, analyze it. Brookings is, you know, we played them double headers now, I think 2 years in a row now, or 3 years in a row. And even if I think last year we beat them in overtime the first game, thinking that we would have them a little bit in their heads a little bit. Brookings don't let you get in their heads at all. So I don't believe that this unfortunate loss today is going to stop anything for them. They're going to come back tomorrow even stronger. And I think Aberdeen's going to have a big fight on their hands. They think they're just going to come in and win this game. unfortunate part for Aberdeen, like we said, they are missing a couple girls. They still do play really well, but I would have to say that, I don't want to say that I would bet that Brookings is going to win, but I'd have to say that I think Brookings is going to come out on top, unfortunately.
Well, and really, I think with Aberdeen, we could see that tonight in your game. Your size and physical maturity of your team was really difficult for them to handle. They got a lot of young, sharp skaters, but when you're body against body, that big body's going to win most of the time, and I kind of see that as a huge factor in that game tomorrow. Plus your team's organization. I agree. The Rangers, and that's a big credit to you, Donovan. They really don't get shook up about this, and I'm sure there were probably some tears in the changing room tonight, but they'll be back tomorrow. So what do you think about the big game tomorrow, Sioux Falls against Watertown?
Other than us in Watertown, it's probably going to be the second best matchup you could get. I mean, it's going to be a great game because realistically, I think Kurt will agree, if Sioux Falls had their goalie all year, the team that they've brought to the tournament, they're in the top three. A credit to them, they're probably league champions or close, or I mean, with the team they have, they've got so many good quality skaters, and their goalie is, other than Watertown and Rushmore's goalie has a few years of experience. Their goalie's got the most experience out of all the goalies here, other than maybe Huron. And so they're a completely different team than they've had all year. So it'll be a great game. Either way. And I just think, Watertown's got to protect their goalie, and do a good job and just kind of cover both lines. And, Watertown's got the tools. I think I hate to pick a winner out of the two of them because I think it's going to be every bit as close as every other game you've seen. Aberdeen, Watertown, and us in Sioux Falls. I think. The top three. With them, with their goalie they've had, the top three teams, it wouldn't, it'd have been a toss-up every time they hit the ice because they're a very good team, and it's just their confidence and is just phenomenal right now with their goalie. The way they're playing. So,
and it comes down to in youth hockey and younger hockey, and even NHL and college, confidence is a big thing. Yeah. You can get on a winning streak, and you can have your team all has confidence all the way around. You got kids coming out of the woodwork that you would never believe that could do some of the stuff that they do, and we're definitely not overlooking Sioux Falls. One of the things that we did was said before the game was even over, really somewhere in the first period. Me and the captains decided that we were going to meet in the locker room after the game. We were going to go over what worked, what didn't, what we saw. Some of them things, it's definitely going to be a game. It's not the game that I was expecting, but it's definitely going to be a game.
It's going to be a great game, and I'll tell you what, just from start to finish today, we had a great day of hockey here in Watertown, and I think tomorrow is going to be every bit as good as today. Yep. So we're going to sign off for tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to bring you a wrap-up show tomorrow. Maybe we'll be able to, but I'm very happy to announce next week when we're at the boys varsity tournament, we're going to have Coach Peterson doing some analysis work, and I don't know if you're going to be around for any of that tournament, but we'd love to get the crew together and talk about hockey. And
I don't think I'll make it down for that.
Okay. Well, we got one of the two of you. Maybe we can round up a guy. I guarantee we won't find anybody with a better haircut than you.
That's good.
I'll never forget the day I walked into the barber and said, "Hey, I want a flat top," and they just laughed at me. I had 10 hairs, and it wasn't a doable deal. Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending these last couple evenings with us. It's really, I think, helped explain a lot about what's going on here at the tournament, and it's really helped me a lot understand, and thanks for your patience for somebody who's trying to learn a little bit about hockey.
We just appreciate that you're advertising and helping promote girls hockey.
Yep, thank you guys.
Well, thank you, and maybe we'll see you tomorrow, maybe we won't, but we will see you for sure next week in Brookings.